today we'll be discussing about giving advice. Give advice, okay? It's very likely that most of us spend more time giving advice than actually paying attention to what we say. So today we're going to be discussing the appropriate ways to give advice, okay? Let's start by defining what we understand for advice. And advice is nothing more than a recommendation that we do to someone else based on our knowledge, our experience, and what we believe about a certain situation or a certain event. It's the way we express to someone else what we think it's better for him or her to do in a specific situation, okay? Let's say that you have a friend that is a little worried that she's gaining some weight and that she might be a little fat. So she asks for your advice. How would you respond to her? What would you say? Giving advice in English might seem a little bit tricky, but there's a lot of ways that we can use, and we have different structures to use them, okay? So let's talk about them and see which one we can use to give advice. So the first one is the use of modal verbs. We've talked about modal verbs a lot, but today we're going to talk about two modal verbs that are the ones that we use more often to give advice. Those are should and ought. They both kind of mean the same, but they're used in a slightly different way in each sentence. Okay, hoy vamos a estar hablando de giving advice, chicos, y vamos a revisar las maneras apropiadas de dar advice. La primera manera que vamos a hablar es con los modal verbs. Nosotros hemos hablado mucho de los modal verbs. Hoy vamos a estar hablando de dos modal verbs que son comúnmente usados para dar consejos, que son should y ought. So, vamos a ver los examples. You should do more traveling. You shouldn't drink so much beer. So after should, we use an infinitive, okay? You ought to more traveling. You ought not to drink more beer. A different of should, when we use ought, we use ought for giving advice. A diferencia del should, cuando tenemos el ought, we use ought para dar el advice. Es completo. Ought to, okay? Make it into a question. To make advice a little bit less direct, we can use a question to make a person consider our advice, okay? So for example, why don't you do some more tidying? How about doing some more tidying? Usando el advice en una pregunta, no somos tan directos y le damos un poco más de oportunidad a la persona que sienta que tiene el control de la decisión, okay? Simplemente estamos como, putting it out there to see if she can, so the person considers, okay? With the questions, why don't you, we use an infinitive, and with the question, how about, we use a gerundive, okay? Either way, I'm going to leave the presentation on the Google Classroom, so if you have any questions, you can check it out again and make sure that you understand everything. Okay, the best way to give an advice is to put yourselves in the position of the other person, okay? If someone asks for your advice, before saying anything, try to imagine yourself in that position. If you were asking that advice, what would you like to hear? What would you like the other person to tell you, okay? And it's a better way to explain your advice. For example, if I were you, I will travel more. La mejor manera de dar consejos es cuando nos ponemos en la posición de otra persona. De esta manera, cuando alguien pida tu advice, trata de imaginarte qué te gustaría que te dijeran a ti si pidieras el mismo consejo, y eso te da la oportunidad de explicar un poco más tu consejo, ¿ok? Remember to use an infinitive after would and not to, ¿ok? To make this negative, just put not after would. If I were you, I would not travel more. Para hacer esto negativo, simplemente ponemos el not after, después del would, ¿ok? If I were you, I would not travel more. Make a suggestion. We can give an advice by giving a recommendation, okay? For this, we use suggest and recommend, and again, this is a not so direct way to give an advice, okay? So, I would suggest doing more of an effort. I would recommend doing this instead. Hacer una sugerencia también es una buena manera de dar un consejo. Cuando damos una sugerencia, también estamos siendo un poco menos directo, okay, con la persona. For this structure, the verb is always an ing after the words suggest and recommend, okay? And that way you explain a little bit more to your listener your advice or why you decided to use this advice. To make it into a negative, just put a not before the ing verb. I would suggest not doing more an effort, okay? Advice in a strong way. Sometimes we need to make sure that our advice is strong enough so the person understands why they should do what we're saying, okay? And it's really important that they understand our advice. So to make it stronger, we can use the expression, you had better, okay? This is an expression that probably most of your moms use on a daily basis. It's a very common expression in Spanish. So let's see the examples. You had better start working on your homework. You had better finish this assignment in time. A veces necesitamos que nuestros advice sean un poco más fuertes, que la persona entienda que debe hacerlo, y para eso usamos la expresión you had better. Esta es una expresión que probablemente sus mamás usan diariamente, pero que le da más fuerza a el advice que estamos usando, ¿ok? We use an infinitive after better to explain our advice, and we add not after the better to make the sentence negative. You had better not start working on your homework. And we want to make it negative, but you should start working on your homework, okay? I will leave you a link to a video that explains and give you a little bit more of examples on how you can use these expressions to give advice, okay? It's a very short video, it's a very simple video, and could complete a little bit what we've been talking here, okay? Les voy a dejar el link de un video bastante sencillo, bastante corto, que les da un poco más de ejemplos y complementa lo que ya hemos hablado de una manera más sencilla, okay? Remember that if you have any questions, any doubts, anything that you want to ask, you can text me on the Hangouts application or you can send me an email, okay? And I will respond to you clarifying anything that you need to know. Acuérdense que si tienen cualquier duda me pueden contactar por la aplicación de Hangouts o me pueden enviar un correo electrónico y yo con mucho gusto les aclaro lo que necesiten. De todas maneras, como les comenté, voy a dejar the presentation en el Google Classroom para que cualquier duda que tengan la puedan verificar. The other thing is that you're going to receive an assignment today. It's a little assignment in order to practice your giving advice skills. So all you have to do is respond in there and submit it to the Google Classroom, okay? También van a estar recibiendo una pequeña actividad para practicar un poco esto de giving advice. Lo único que tienen que hacer es responderla y la envían nuevamente al Google Classroom. I will see you soon, kids. Have a nice day.